Hi, I'm going to talk about my review of Shanghai. Now, Shanghai is an awesome city, and I recommend expats and even tourists to visit Shanghai. Shanghai is both good during the day and the night. So it's good during morning, afternoon, and the night. Um, I recommend you go. What are the places you should go? You definitely should go to the Bund at nighttime. So, for instance, I would say I recommend you be at the Bund around 7 p.m. and the Bund. And why we should go to the Bund is because you could see the buildings light up. For the buildings light up, all the buildings light up. It's very beautiful. Also, beautiful. Also, the Oriental Pearl Tower is like actually the last place to get light up. So usually it gets light up around 6:30, around 7 o'clock. So I'd say just to be the safe side, be there around 7 o'clock at the Bund. So first thing you should see in Shanghai is the Bund. So you should see the Bund. That's number one. I recommend you go to the Bund. Another thing I recommend is also do a river cruise at the night. So go around maybe 7 p.m. again, because when you go on the river cruise, you also see the lights shine up, and the lights shine up, and the buildings shine up. You'll see the lights and all that in the river cruise. So in the boat cruise, sorry. So you should do your boat cruise around 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. because for around 7, basically do the nighttime. But I recommend around 7 p.m. 8 p.m. because the reason is that the lights for the buildings shut down after maybe around 9:30, 9 o'clock. But to be safe, around 7 8 p.m. 7 to 9 ish should be fine for the boat cruise, because I want you to see the lights. The buildings light up. So that's all. And the boat cruise, you can get your boat cruise at the Bund. So you should be at the Bund. You should go see the Bund and do the boat cruise around 7 p.m. And see the lights around 7 p.m. 8 p.m. to see the lights. I also recommend you visit the Oriental Pearl Tower and get the full ticket. Go to see the top and the observatory deck and the transparent deck. And also I recommend, so you should get the full price. You should buy the ticket for the full thing. So you should expect the full thing. You should see the very top of the Oriental Pearl Tower. You should see the what's it called, you should see Oriental Pearl Tower. You should see the you should see the top of the Oriental Pearl Tower. You should go to the transparent, that's called the observatory deck. You should go there. You should go to the transparent part of the Oriental Pearl Tower, where you could see glass. You're all walking on glass, and you can see down there. It's really nice. And also you should be in the Oriental Pearl Tower. They have like an indoor video game place. So the arcade is an indoor arcade. It's pretty big there. So if you like to play games, it has an indoor arcade. It also has the Oriental Pearl Tower has an indoor roller coaster. I repeat it again. It has an indoor roller coaster. If you see one of my other videos, I show you the actual indoor roller coaster. It's actually a good roller coaster. It's really nice, and I recommend you do it. To do the roller coaster. Also, it's very high. There's some other cool stuff out there, So I recommend, just go to Oriental Pearl Tower. Yeah, and when do you go to the Oriental Pearl Tower? You should be there at 4 p.m. The reason why I should recommend you be there at 4 p.m. because you can see the buildings and so on. To see the buildings in the day, so you can see during the light when there's light, and then around 5 p.m. 5 p.m. is when sunset happens. So around 5 p.m. Usually it can be 5:15. That's when the sunset happens. So I recommend you be there at 4 p.m. and stay there around maybe 6 p.m. Stay there around 7 p.m. so that you can see everything. You can see the buildings during the day, like when there's light, and then you can see the sunset. And you can start slowly seeing some of the buildings slowly light up. More and more buildings and streets light up, and it's beautiful. And around there, building light up. So I recommend there be in the rental Pearl Tower from 4 to be there, get there at 4 and be there around 6 around there about 6:30 to be there, or 6:30 to 7 p.m. So I recommend to be in the rental Pearl Tower. Sunset occurs around 5 p.m. in Shanghai. Also, I also recommend you, if you like to, you could also visit. You also should visit the second largest tower in the world. It's the Shanghai Tower. That's the second largest tower in the world. The next one is in Dubai. But you should go there. It's really nice there. Again, you should go there. You should go to the Shanghai Tower get there by 4 p.m. and you see the sunset. And then be there until like 6:30. I'd rather be there, stay there until 7 p.m. So that way, when you're in the Shanghai Tower, you can also see the Oriental Pearl Tower light up around that time. And you don't need to see the other towers. It's just Shanghai Tower, Oriental Pearl Tower is good. I recommend to see both of them. You can also around the Shanghai Tower, Oriental Pearl Tower. You can see you can walk around the top. It's like a circle on the top. It's really nice. You can see Disney in that area around the Oriental Pearl Tower. There's a subway. So there's a station. There's a subway station. I think it started with an L. I think it was LU something. I forgot to pronounce the name. But right in that station is, if you get out of that station, you'll see the Oriental Pearl Tower, and you can also see the Shanghai Tower. It's really nice view. So I should recommend go around the area. Go on the very top. There's a circle, and you can see the view. You can see the towers is really nice. So go on the very top, climb up the stairs, and you'll see like a walk. It's like a street. You can go walk on the top. You'll see what I mean. And you can take pictures, see the view. You can see the view, Shanghai. You can see the towers. You can see the Oriental Pearl Tower. You can also there's two malls. One mall close to Shanghai Tower, and there's another mall close to Oriental Pearl Tower. So you can definitely you can definitely go to those malls. They're huge, gigantic malls. So if you like to shop there, if you're hungry for food, you can go there as well. If you're an expat and you're craving Western food, there's a Subway close to Oriental Pearl Tower. There's also, if you go walking towards the station, you'll see a Taco Bell, and of course they have McDonald's and KFC. And if you're really tight on budget, again, you can go for Chinese food. Chinese food is a lot cheaper than if you go buy Western food. So there's in the mall there are Chinese food restaurants. You can get there as well. So that's what it is. So there's a lot more places to see. I recommend there's a lot of places to see, but these are you can go. When you should go to Shanghai. When do you go to Shanghai? Oh man, it's I would say the best time to go to Shanghai is in the spring, when things are, because you can go to the spring because you see that's when flowers start to blossom. You can see the flowers, right? The flowers blossom and stuff, and you can see the Yuan Garden. So again, I recommend the springtime will be the best time to go to Shanghai, so you get the full experience. But if you really want to badly, but again, that's only just for the Yuan Garden. In some place, like there's also amusement park there as well. But again, that opens like maybe in the spring and summer. So again, if you want to get the best out of Shanghai, the best spring, summer. But if you can't wait, or you're planning to come to Shanghai a second time, then yeah, you can go. You can see the Oriental Pearl Tower, the Shanghai Tower, and the city. And Nanjing, you can also see Nanjing Street. You can see the City God Temple. During the night, in the morning, you can light up. You can see that as well. And you can see the Jade Buddha Temple, which I'll talk further about. But you can see them all any day, any time of the day. But if you want to see the Yuan Garden or the other amusement park in Shanghai, or the aquarium, you want to go to the Shanghai Ocean Aquarium, the best time would be the spring or summer to see those places. But for the other places, you can go any time of the day, any time of the year. So that's my opinion. But yeah, for the Jade Buddha Temple, yeah, it's a very nice temple. I mean, if you've seen other temples in other places, you'll find the Jade Buddha Temple kind of boring, because they're actually very similar temples. if you're a Chinese expat and you see a lot of, or if you visit China many times and you see many temples, you'll find the Jade Buddha temple kind of like, I've seen it already because other temples are similar. They all are similar. They have, but Jade Buddha temple, if you've seen for the first, but what I like about the Chinese temples and even Jade Buddha temple is that it's the inside and seeing the monuments, seeing the gold statues. Oh man, it's beautiful. But if you've seen many of them before you visit Jade Buddha Temple, you'll find it boring. But for someone else who's never seen it before, or you're like, wow, it's amazing just seeing the gold statues. So I recommend if you're, I would say this, whether you're new or if you've seen many temples, still go there. It's very beautiful. See the gold statue, see the design, be awe and amazed. And some cool things you can also in the Jade Buddha Temple. You can also do some. They'll give you a piece of paper. It's free, and you could paint. There's paint. They give you a piece of paper with Chinese characters, and they give you actually black paint, and you can just type the characters. It's really not. It's free. Part of your ticket. It's like the cost of the ticket is 20 RMB, which is like basically you could say around $4, 3 to 4 Canadian dollars. So. It's really cheap, and that ticket you can see the inside the Jade Buddha Temple. You can also do that again, that piece of paper with Chinese characters, and you can paint. So you can do some painting is included. It's really nice. And I also recommend and there's other places to see. There's so much to see in Shanghai that there's a lot to see. So I recommend to see Shanghai. Actually, I should recommend to see Shanghai many, many times. You should come here, visit many, many times. There's so much to see here. There's a lot to see here. But that's it. That's what I think it is. If you're an expat and you live, Shanghai is actually slightly higher than the city where I am. Where I live, I had to pay just for starting taxi rides 80 RMB, but in Shanghai, the taxi ride is 16 RMB. I also recommend for expats who are traveling to Shanghai to use Didi, okay? Don't go to random taxis. Some of them will try to rip you off. I remember when I was getting out of Shanghai railway station, and that I was going in there, I couldn't. The Didi wasn't Didi wasn't working. I was too tired. My hostel was close to the Shanghai Tower. Hostel was close, but I close to the Shanghai railway station. But I was too tired, so I was like, and I was confused with the direction. I was tired, so I tried to went to the taxi there, and the guy says 150 RMB. I was like, no, hell no. I was like, that's too much. It's like, so you see, they try to rip off the foreigners here. In some of them, not all, but some of the taxi drivers try to rip you off. So I recommend using Didi to get to your location. Didi is also, I recommend for expats to use Didi, because if you, this is something really important here, but when you come to China for the first time and you try to get your SIM card, sometimes the Chinese SIM card whether your phone from your home country may not accept the Chinese SIM card, so you're forced to use a Chinese phone. Unfortunately, you may have trouble install. You will not be. Maybe you will have a hard time installing the VPN in your Chinese phone, or you just don't know how to do it, or you just, and so on. So you won't be able to use the Google Translate on your Chinese phone, a Google Map on your Chinese phone, and use the mobile data there on your. So what I meant is this. Sorry, let me say this again. What I meant is this. If you have what I mean is this: if you have a Canadian phone, what I'm saying is that if you have a phone and you brought if the Chinese SIM, if you're able to use if the Chinese SIM card works on your home phone from your home country, if your phone from home country, then yeah, I recommend using. Try to use the Google Maps, and try to use the mobile data, and try to use the Google Maps to find where you want to go in Shanghai. But there are cases where your phone from your home country may not accept a Chinese SIM card, and so you will have to get a Chinese phone, and unfortunately, your Chinese phone will not have the VPN, and so you will probably have to resort to your Chinese phone, because your Chinese phone has the mobile data. So what do you do in that situation? This is for expats. If this is for yeah, this is for expats. Yeah, advice for expats. But yeah, yeah. But what do you do in that situation? Well, you can use the Didi. Okay, you can use the Didi app, the Didi app, and the Didi app, and you can use the Didi app, and it tells you the Didi app. So what you can do, the Didi app is a GPS, and you use the Didi app to help you to find where you want to go in Shanghai. So, example, you can type, or actually, if you if you allow Didi to locate where you are, then you can go when you go for, that would be like your two, right? And then from you can type, example, Oriental Pearl Tower, and then you can scroll up and you can see Oriental Pearl Tower, and you can see the closest station. So, yeah, and this is something I recommend to use when you go to travel to Shanghai, is to use the Shanghai Metro. It's also a lot cheaper than taxi. But, sorry about that. But you can use the Shanghai Metro yeah, so you should use the Shanghai Metro to get to the places you want to see. And you can use but the thing is, the Shanghai Metro, well, you should use the Shanghai Metro to visit the tourist attractions here. And yeah, so then you can use the Didi. So the you can use the Didi to find, you can use the Shanghai, there's a map, and it has the stations are in Chinese and in English. And you can use the Didi app to basically use the Didi app to, for example, I want to go Oriental Pearl Tower. You can scroll through, and then you can find the closest station, and then then you can use the refer to the map and see, okay, where station you are right now and how to get there, and then you can buy your ticket there. And you can ask the people that you can use the Google Translate or a Translate app to tell them where you want to go, and they'll they can help you buy the ticket, or it's very easy to buy the ticket over in the machine. It'll have it in English, so you can just type what station you want to go and so on. So you can use the Didi app to find the nearest station, find the attraction you want to go, like Oriental Pearl Tower, find the name of the station that's closest to it, and then you can buy your ticket from the machine, or buy the ticket from the machine. And that it'll have in instructions. You could figure out which station you want to get to, and so on. So that you can use the Didi app to help you find the station closest to the attraction, and you can use Didi to help you find where you are, because Shanghai is a big place, so you can use the Didi app as the GPS. And it can help you find the closest station to where you want to go. So if you're using the Shanghai Metro and you don't want to get to, say, Oriental Pearl Tower, and we need to figure out which station to get there, there's a couple of ways. You can use the Translate app to tell them, the train workers, because some of them don't actually know English. So you can use the Translate app to tell them, I want to go Oriental Pearl Tower, or you can use the Didi app to but don't click, when you use the Didi app, don't click call the taxi, but you can use the Didi app to help you to find to help you get to see where you are right now, and to find the closest station to the place. So you can use Didi app as sort of a Google map. That's what I'm trying to get at. And I recommend use the Shanghai Metro. In Shanghai Metro. It's hard. It's initially confusing at times, but once you start using it, it's actually really easy. And using the Didi app helps a lot, or your Google Map or app as well. You can also use Bing, Bing.com. You can use that, have a map as well, and that can search to the places as well if you're lost. Yeah, so I hope you. Sorry about that. Let me. Yeah, and the food. Yeah, if you want to save money on food, just go to the Chinese food. Just maybe want to stay away from Western food. McDonald's might be the cheapest of the Western food. Warning you. Yeah, this is another reminder. Just thing to mention. 9:30, usually around 9:30, everything. A lot of restaurants are closed. So there are some Chinese restaurants open, but very few. Most of the ones that are open are McDonald's and KFC, and And you can, if you're, yeah, you can also find Starbucks in Shanghai as well. So Shanghai is a place for if you're an expat and you're craving Western food or Western food. This is probably the place you want to visit Shanghai. You could probably get Indian restaurant. There's Indian food here as well. If you love Indian food, you can go to Shanghai. I haven't ordered in you can go to you can go order Shanghai Indian food if you're craving. You can come to Shanghai and visit here. Yeah. Yeah. So and now explain the people here. Now, if you're in a city, depending on type of city, you'll notice that Shanghai. You see, the city I am that I lived in, when I speak Mandarin, people are like happy and so on, and people are very happy and they're like, wow, they're like happy. When they say example, shay shay, they're like, which means thank you, man. They're like Mandarin. They're like they like feel happy. They smile. But when you say that in Shanghai, that people like don't really care in Shanghai. People I've noticed in Shanghai are very miserable. They're not happy. They don't really care. And I think compared to the city that I'm living in, or maybe the city you're living, maybe you felt the same thing. Also, when you see a foreigner in the city that I'm living in, they're like happy. Like when I see a foreigner, like, oh, we're so happy. Oh man, there's a foreigner. Like we get to talk to each other. But in Shanghai, when you see a foreigner, the foreigner just looks at you like just bypasses you. So you don't get a lot of eye contact in Shanghai. I've noticed a lot. But that's what I've noticed in Shanghai. Like people, it's a big city, so it's not people here that just focused on getting to their place and walking, but you're just focusing on them doing what they need to do, and it's not a lot. It's not a lot of eye contact there in Shanghai. Compared to the city. Also, I noticed that in the city where I'm living, people would like try to take a picture of you. I didn't feel that in Shanghai though. See, because in Shanghai, there's a lot of foreigners. So that's what I felt in Shanghai. But but again, I still recommend you go to. Despite that, you should still go to Shanghai. Should still go to visit Shanghai, and visit Shanghai. And I recommend the place, especially if you're an expat. But also, I recommend tourists to see it. Tourists, for tourists, I recommend or tourists or expats. I recommend figure out the stations that are closest to the attractions you want to go, because that will help you. So studying the map, the Shanghai Metro map would help. Because they have a portable map, but that's in Mandarin. They don't have in English. So what I recommend is to study the Shanghai Metro and figure out the attractions you want to go in advance, and find the closest stations there. Find either through your Google map, through the Google search or binge.com search, and figure out the stations, write it down. Also write them also in Mandarin as well. So write the name of the stations. So name of the attractions and the stations both in English and in Mandarin. Get them in Mandarin as well. You can get the name. You can use Google Translate to help you with that, and get them and write them in a piece of paper so you can show to the trained workers or anybody else that where you want to go, and they'll tell you that there are people that speak English in Shanghai. So but not everyone speaks English there. So that's what it is. Anything that I forget? Yeah, so I recommend write the stations, write the attractions you want to go, write them down on a piece of paper in English and in Mandarin. Find out the closest subway stations to these attractions, figure them out, study the Shanghai Metro, maybe study the Shanghai Metro, use the, if you're an expat, use the DD app, your Google Translate app, and try to ask the locals for help as well. For tourists, I understand if you try to use Google Translate, your company may charge you for your telephone company might charge you for mobile data. So I know that it's very expensive. So what I recommend is maybe get a printout of a map and print it out of the Shanghai with the map, or get an actual map of Shanghai and write out the stations names and the places you want to go in Mandarin. And I recommend, again, for taxi for foreign tourists, I don't know if you can use DD for as a tourist. So maybe you want to check that out. Once you get, because you can't download DD while in your home country, but if you're in China, you can download the DD. So I tried to do that in my home country and I couldn't do that. So I think if you come to Shanghai, try to download the DD if you can. I don't know. I think DD you need the Chinese phone number, but check it out. But yeah, but if you're in the case, just be careful of the fraud, scam too. Oh yeah, there's another advice too to expats and tourists who arrive to Shanghai. Okay, if somebody comes to you and says to you to come to buy my product or come to the shop, just avoid them. Anyone that approaches you, just be very careful, because there are some tea scams. So be aware of some of the scams in China. In China, there's a tea scam. I remember they usually come here to tell you to come here to my tea shop, and then then you buy the tea, and then they charge you this expensive price. Yeah, be careful. I would recommend just go to just if someone tells you to go buy their tea or something, or some taxi driver tells you, or taxi driver tells to come to my cab, just ignore them, okay? Or some driver tells you to come here, just ignore them. It's just their way to lure you to buy their product or service and then charge you a high price. So I would recommend that, just to ignore them. Go to places you're comfortable with, but also ask for help, right? Ask for help where, if you're, for example, lost, in the subway, Shanghai metro, you're lost. Yeah, ask for help. There are people that speak Mandarin, but there are some people who don't speak Mandarin. But for those who don't speak Mandarin, you can use the True Translate app to help. That's why I recommend writing your stuff, the locations and the attractions and the subway, and that's why I'm saying studying Shanghai, That's why writing the attractions in Mandarin and in English, and writing the closest subway and knowing writing the subway stations closest to these places will help. I recommend using Shanghai Metro. It's very cheap. It's like 3 yuan. If you use taxi, it's a lot more expensive. But I recommend for tourists especially to use the Metro over the taxi, because the taxi, they'll try to rip you off. And if you don't have DD, it may not be possible. For expats, again, I would also advise them also Metro. But if you're lost, or if you're tired, then you can use DD to help. I recommend use DD. Don't just go to some random taxi driver and ask for help. Get the taxi, because they might rip you off. So I hope, so to summarize this video, I know it's a long video. This is actually my longest video, but let me summarize the things. Okay, the best time to go to Shanghai is spring, but you can go any time of the day to Shanghai, but you won't be able to see some attractions, okay, if you go in the winter time. The things you must see, okay, you should see in Shanghai. Definitely must be. You have to see. There's so much to see in Shanghai, but a lot to see. And you can use TripAdvisor to find the places you like to go. And it all depends what you want to go in Shanghai. But I recommend to go to the Oriental Pearl Tower, go to the Bund. And those are the must. You have to go, and those are the must. The Bund, Oriental Pearl Tower, and the River Cruise, and the Shanghai Tower, and the rest it's all optional to you. If you like to, I also recommend Jade Buddha Temple as well, so I recommend that as well. And you can see, then there's a lot of attractions. So, and I recommend not to cram a lot of places. Don't try to try to go as much places as you can. Don't try to go as many attractions you can. Enjoy, see the city. I recommend